Good evening. I guess on the East Coast it's already September 14th. Here we have a schematic tied into one of mine called Antarctic Freeze-In. But it's also tied into jobs. And it's tied into a special, this is not a fake smile, place in my existence for Texas. Not a fake smile, I'm just thinking about Texas. Okay. Anyway, here we have a red stick figure. And here we have a blue stick figure. Let's see if we got a nice color. We don't have much green in the picture. Red stick figure, blue stick figure. And these are, respectively, this is a football stadium, and this, not to scale, is Antarctica. Up here, less discernible and powerful, are the creative forces. I refer to them as the gods, but I'm totally all right with the revelation that it's all one God, and there's these different revelations. That's okay with me too. I wrote a lyric once called "It's all one thing, but some of it's better." Anyway, that was in 1986 or something. Okay, and here we have a river, and here we have manufacturing leading to a road. So this is a big manufacturing plant. And here is a highway. Now, that's 2 minutes of your precious life you watch setting up this. Football stadium, Antarctica, river, highway, gods. And then the pesky things that also inspire us from our history, the reincarnational tendrils, which we perceive in different colors if we perceive them at all. But let's say the colors of the day just are going to be sort of a milky red and a earth tone orange. Maybe we can spice the red up a little bit, get a little colder. Okay, now these daydreams and tendrils affect the lives and compete for the attentions of people, and say this red tendril wants to talk to the blue person, and the blue person, just by their proclivity, keeps their relationship with the heavens. And who knows, out from left field or beyond, maybe there's a blue tendril that they dig too, and sort of makes them feel ba 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 ba. So they got their blue tendrilness. And one of their blue tendrilnesses was they built the Cowboy Stadium. Okay? Now, why I like the Cowboy Stadium, although I'm very fond of Texas, I'm not a big Cowboys fan. But I like Texas football. It's just not a fake smile here, okay? All right, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I think the Dallas Cowboys Stadium is a big deal for not only the United States, but for the world. We now understand what the excellence of human endeavor is that costs a billion. It used to be when people said a billion, I just went, that's for politicians. I was paying $125 a month rent living in Manhattan with a view of the World Trade Towers and a clock that always said 12:30. A billion was, just let them say a billion. I'm sure it'll be good if they can build something as good as the New York City subway system, 750 miles of track that goes 70 miles an hour. And you can go anywhere in the world, practically, culturally. Well, okay. So a billion, but I thought this was groovy, that they said that the Dallas Cowboy Stadium cost a billion. Okay, cool. So I thought maybe we ought to have $1 billion bill and We could have somebody on the front of it, and we could have the Dallas Cowboys Stadium on the back, so we know. Well, so I figured, well, what would you do with $1 billion if it wasn't a Dallas Cowboys Stadium? I chopped it down to, well, that if you took all that infrastructure and all that know-how, you could make a city of the future for 10,000 people. The stadium can handle 100,000 on a weekend, and it's no sweat. But it could probably, if you spread the infrastructure capacity over the parking lot, you'd have a city of 10,000, and it could handle a non-stop amount of human action that the Dallas Cowboys experience on a home game on those weekends. Okay, so that's a lot of time on the Dallas Cowboys Stadium being $1 billion. So we're going to race over here to a river, water. I live on the Colorado River. Now, my vision is we ought to have a big green space around the river and just say, okay, just like Oklahoma was settled, start putting your purple people palaces, say, a mile off the river. Grandfather in Laughlin, grandfather in, and the reses will tell you where to go when it comes to this, hopefully. Reservations. So, and then the lovely purple palaces, their proximity and how well they are designed to the closeness of the Colorado River will create a kind of value in the long run that will make this activity over here, making purple palace powered personal petroleum packages more profoundly proficient at the relentless execution of perfection. I'm not a fan of Mercedes-Benz or Lexuses. So, let's say pavement pounders, American style. So we start building these babies so we can get to these babies, so we can hopefully, back to this green stuff, establish in foresight a green belt. Now Waikiki has these skyscrapers go right on the beach, and I bet you get the idea pretty quick. Okay, you go out and there's the beach, but I wonder how that looks nowadays. Maybe a little, but we just won World War II. Hey, have a party. More on that later as a theme. Now, how does this all lead us to Antarctica? My guess is we're gonna eventually want to live in Antarctica the way people want to live in towns, and then we'll have a much better ratio in terms of what we get paid to do. I mean, really famous people get paid to be good at leisure time. I don't see why that can't be true for everybody, given the information age and the ridiculousness of the idea of fighting over the natural resources anymore. Witness Libya. So, people say they can't see the billion work. Mr. Bonner goes, and the Texan ought to be able to say billion. Well, heck, Texas is a place that created the concept practically for the whole planet to understand. A billion. Well, what's a billion? Sure. Now, why can't you say Bonner's like trillion, Bonner? That's 700. Actually, it costs more than $1 billion. The stadium. That's 700 Dallas Cowboy stadiums is $1 trillion. If you've ever driven across Texas, there's a whole heap of $1 trillion worth of space in Texas, leading to Texas being a test site for life in Antarctica. I'd say about 20 generations from now we can start taking the concept very seriously. So these things clock in around 10, but soon there's going to be a format. You pop in and there's going to be 1 minute, 21 seconds, 10, 10, and a little bit of ads and filler in between. So in less than a minute you'll get 3 shows, and this will be every day as I yet suck oxygen and everybody else yet lives to have the time and temperament. So, Oscar 21 10 10. On the East Coast, it's the 14th. And thanks.